Hey guys, hope all are safe at your home. I am Anusha S from Raja Muthiah Medical College studying first year in Chidambaram. Now for the next 15 minutes, you would listen carefully. I am going to talk about respiratory system. For the NEET exams, out of 720 marks, 360 marks constitutes for the biology. So all read biology in a very thoroughful manner. Biology is a theoretical subject but requires a fine level of understanding of the concepts, as single doubt can create lot of repercussions. And for all things, biology is the basic thing. So class 11 biology basically lays the foundation of your medical exams, and it is indeed the first step towards your dream job. All the chapters of class 11 are interconnected with class 12. So to secure good marks in NEET, you should very well do your basics very strong. This is just a quote. By seeing this, you can get some motivation. Now I'm going to talk about the respiratory system. So listen carefully for next 15 minutes. Mostly the questions that for the NEET based on the respiration, if you listen this video, you can almost attend all the questions. Now, basically what is respiration? All the cells continuously use oxygen for the catabolic reactions that releases energy from molecules. Thus, oxygen has to be provided to the cell constantly, and carbon dioxide, which is harmful, it has to be removed quickly and efficiently. The process that helps in exchange of oxygen from atmosphere with CO2 produced by the cell is called as breathing. It is commonly called as respiration. Respiratory tract anatomy. In this picture you can see the larynx cartilage, which are thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage. Then you can see the trachea, then upper lobe of lung, then right primary bronchus, middle lobe, lower lobe, right lobe and left lobe, notch for the heart which is present in the left lobe of lung, and lower lobe, upper lobe, and upper lobe bronchus and lower lobe bronchus, and left primary bronchus. Next, coming to breathing and respiration. Here you can see the parts. There are two main parts of respiratory tract. They are conducting part and respiratory part. Conducting part extends from the external nostrils to the terminal bronchioles, and the respiratory part constitutes the alveoli and their ducts. Pulmonary tree. What constitutes the pulmonary tree? Trachea, then primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, then bronchioles, which are primary bronchioles, secondary bronchiole, tertiary bronchioles, then respiratory bronchioles, then cluster of alveolar sacs and alveolar ducts. Then coming to the cartilage of larynx, which are 3 paired cartilage and 3 unpaired cartilage. Cartilage which are paired are arytenoid, corniculate or Santorini, and cuneiform. These three cartilages are paired cartilage. Unpaired cartilages are thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, and epiglottis. Then coming to the vocal cords are of two types. They are false and true vocal cords. False vocal cords do not produce any sound, and true vocal cords produces sounds. Then lungs. Lungs are the paired triangular bags that constitutes the respiratory organ. In this picture you can see the epiglottis, which is above the larynx, then trachea, then parietal pleura, which covers the lungs. There are two types of pleura which covers the lung. They are parietal and visceral pleura. Visceral pleura is the pleura which is attached towards the lung, and parietal pleura is outside. And cardiac notch, which is present on the left lung, and pleural membrane, alveoli, pleural fluid, and bronchiole. There is diaphragm in which the lungs rest. Then bronchus, then the cut end of the rib, and lung. Coming to the movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide in and out of the respiratory system, they are: the environment is rich in oxygen, so the oxygen from the environment enters the external nostrils to the nasal cavity, to the pharynx, to the trachea, to the bronchi, then bronchioles, alveoli, and oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange takes place at the alveoli. Because we have already seen that the respiratory part of the respiratory system constitutes of the alveoli and the duct. Then comes the bronchioles, then bronchi, then trachea, pharynx, again comes the nasal cavity, and carbon dioxide is expelled out to the environment. As I already told you, the cartilage of the larynx is 3 paired and 3 unpaired. The 3 paired cartilages are arytenoid, corniculate, and cuneiform, and 3 unpaired cartilages are thyroid, cricoid, and epiglottis. Here in these two pictures, you can see the inspiration and expiration. The A diagram shows the inspiration, that is air entering the lungs. Then volume of thorax is increased and lung gets expanded. Then ribcage and ribs and sternum are raised. Then during expiration, air is expelled from the lungs. So the volume of the thorax decreased and lungs return to its original position, and ribs and sternum return to their original position. That is, ribs and sternum are lowered down and diaphragm relaxed and arched upwards. Forced expiration. Forced expiration is an active process because it occurs due to the contraction of internal intercostal muscles and lateral abdominal muscles. Then percentage of saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen at different areas depends upon the partial pressure of oxygen. Then diffusion membrane. The diffusion membrane is made up of three layers. They are thin squamous epithelium of alveoli, endothelium of alveolar capillaries, and basement membrane. HB, that is hemoglobin, which acts as a buffer because they have the presence of histidine. It's a protein. This is a basic protein. And there is a chloride shift and reverse chloride shift. In chloride shift, the HCO3 minus ions comes from the RBC to the plasma. It occurs in tissues. And reverse chloride shift, the HCO3 minus ions come from the plasma to the RBC. It occurs in lungs. Breathing rate. The breathing rate of an individual is 12 to 16 times per minute. Spirometer. Spirometer is an instrument which is used for the estimation of volume of air involved in breathing movements. Note, there are about 300 million alveoli in two lungs with a combination surface area of about 70 meters square. That is, it is equivalent to the surface area of a tennis court. A film of lecithin lines the alveoli that lowers the surface tension. So it acts as a surfactant. Surfactant is a substance which lowers the surface tension. Larynx. Larynx is comprised of 9 cartilage, that is 3 unpaired and 3 paired cartilage. If the chest wall is pierced by a stab wound, atmospheric air rushes into the pleural cavity, eliminating the pressure difference across the lung wall, causing the lungs to collapse. This is called as pneumothorax. Pneumo means air. So air gets accumulated inside the pleural cavity. Next comes the lung volumes and capacities. The lung volume and capacities are tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, inspiratory capacity, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. These you can see in the tabular column, which has description and average value. What is anatomical dead space? The anatomical dead space is the total volume of conducting airways from the nose to the mouth down to the level of the terminal bronchioles, and it is about 150 ml on the average in humans. The anatomical dead space fills with inspired air at the end of each inspiration, but air is exchanged unchanged. Then comes the important points about the regulation of respiratory movements. There are respiratory rhythm center, that is RRC, which is located in medulla oblongata. It is used for regulation of rhythm. Then comes the pneumotoxic center, which is located in pons. It is for the moderation for function of RRC, that is respiratory rhythm center. Next comes the chemosensitive area, which is present adjacent to the RRC, that is respiratory rhythm center, which increases the highly sensitive to carbon dioxide and H plus ions. Here in this graph, you can see the volumes and capacities, that is inspiratory volume, tidal volume, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. An inspiratory capacity consists of the tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume, and functional residual capacity constitutes of the expiratory reserve volume and residual volume, and vital capacity constitutes the inspiratory reserve volume plus tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume, and total lung capacity constitutes all of these things. Then in this flow chart, you can see the definition, value, normal value, and changes that occur during exercise. Then next, coming to the representation of exchange of gases at alveolus and the body tissues with blood and transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide. That is, inspired air is inhaled in and expired air is drawn out, blood entering the alveolar capillaries, then it goes to the pulmonary arteries. Then in the heart, systemic and pulmonary system works, and at last it reaches the alveoli and blood enters into the alveolar capillaries. The small terminal bronchioles gives off a number of thin irregular wall vascular bag-like structure which are called as alveoli. Note, Wall of trachea, bronchi and bronchioles is composed of fibromuscular tissue and it is lined by pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium which is rich in mucus secreting cells. Cartilaginous rings support the walls of the trachea and bronchi to prevent their collapsing. Next comes the disorders of respiratory system. They are asthma, emphysema, bronchitis and pneumonia. What is asthma? It is the inflammation of bronchi and bronchioles. And emphysema occurs mostly due to the smoking. Bronchitis is inflammation of bronchi and pneumonia is bacterium Streptococcus pneumoniae causes this infection. What happens in asthma? Allergens, that is usually asthma is allergens initiated by the release of histamines which causes constriction of the bronchi. So the air gets blocked. Emphysema, chronic, larger but fewer alveoli. Alveoli are fibrous and less elastic. And for pneumonia, impaired exchange of gases occur. Chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases are, that is COPD, are emphysema, chronic bronchitis and asthma. Occupational respiratory disorders. They are asbestosis, silicosis, siderosis and black lung disease. Asbestosis is exposure to asbestos disease. Silicosis is exposure to silica dust and siderosis is deposition of iron particles in the tissues and black lung disease is inhalation of coal dust. Now coming to a section of alveoli with the pulmonary capillary. From the pulmonary artery, blood enters and enter into the pulmonary veins and from there to the blood capillary. The basement membrane, as we already know, the pulmonary capillaries, that is the diffusion membrane, consists of 3 layers. They are thin squamous epithelium of alveoli, endothelium of alveolar capillaries and the basement membrane. Alveolar wall is one-celled thick membrane. Now coming to oxygen dissociation curve of an adult hemoglobin. What is oxygen dissociation curve? It is usually represented in a graph which appears as S-sigmoid shaped curve. It is the saturation, it represents the saturation of hemoglobin with oxygen which varies with partial pressure of oxygen. It has an effect called as Bohr effect. Bohr effect happens in low pH, high increased PCO2 and high lactic acid and curve turns to the right. Oxygen released to the respiring tissues. What about fetal hemoglobin? Fetal hemoglobin have high affinity for oxygen than adult hemoglobin. So this helps to maximize the oxygen uptake from mother's bloodstream. This is a flowchart of all the things which we have covered now. You can go through once. Now I'll tell you a small gist and give you a summary of the respiration. That is, accessory muscles used for respiration, that is breathing, are scalenii muscle, sternocleidomastoid. So the accessory muscles which are used for breathing are scalenii muscle, sternocleidomastoid and ala nisa. Then factors which affect the diffusion are thinness of the membrane, surface area of the membrane, permeability of the membrane, solubility of gases and partial pressure gradient. Then respiration and breathing. Respiration is a biochemical process whereas breathing is a physical process. What are the functions of respiration? Energy. The main function is to produce energy, that is energy production. Then maintenance of acid-base balance, maintenance of temperature and return of blood and lymph. Okay, now I'll give you a summary. That is, the first step in respiration is breathing, by which atmospheric air is taken in and alveolar air is released out. Exchange of O2 and CO2 between deoxygenated blood and alveoli. Transport of these gases through the body of the blood and exchange of O2 and CO2 between the oxygenated blood and tissues and utilization of oxygen by the cells are the other steps that are involved. Expiration and inspiration are carried out by creating pressure gradient, that is the difference between the partial pressure of oxygen and CO2 between the atmosphere and alveoli. It is with the help of specialized muscles which are called as intercostals and diaphragm. Then exchange of O2 and CO2 at the alveoli and tissues occur by diffusion. Diffusion is dependent on partial gradient of oxygen and CO2 and it also depends on the solubility as well as the thickness of the membrane. Oxygen is mainly transported as oxyhemoglobin because oxygen hemoglobin has high affinity to oxygen. So in alveoli where PO2 is higher, O2 gets bound to the hemoglobin which is easily dissociated at the tissues. Where PO2 is low and PCO2 and H plus are high. Nearly 70% of the carbon dioxide is transported as bicarbonate ions with the help of enzyme carbonic anhydrase. That is 20 to 25% of the carbon dioxide is carried out by hemoglobin as carbaminotransferase. In the tissues where PCO2 is high, it gets bound to blood. And whereas in alveoli where PCO2 is low and PCO2 is low and PO2 is high, it gets removed from the blood. Respiratory rhythm is maintained by respiratory center in the medulla region of the brain, a pneumotoxic center in the pons region of the brain, and chemosensitive area in the medulla can alter the respiratory mechanism. This is the gist and summary of the respiratory lesson. This is very easy chapter and you can all go through the slides which are given in my presentation, and hope you guys will do it good in respiratory chapter. Okay guys, now I'll give you some motivation. Don't get panic always. You can do it. You can win up, okay? Maintain your regularity and consistency on daily basis and keep yourself motivated. Self-belief and self-confidence are the must thing to achieve any goal in life. So you have to believe that you can crack NEET 2020. Okay, power to self-motivation and NEET preparation. When you improve yourself, motivation follows you. So build interest in subjects, then remember your goals, take inspiration from NEET success stories, then talk to your parents and teachers whenever you feel demotivated. The best inspiration you can get by is by your parents. They always support you and help you to take good decisions. If you want to work hard always, believe on yourself. Nothing in this world that you can't do. My friends always say that the mind that conceive and believe it can achieve. First, you make sure to select your dream college. Then paste your desired marks in college in front of your study table to avoid things that will affect your selection. Then thirdly, never seek to YouTube in search, because if you see some motivational videos, you will get only confidence during that time and after that you will lose. So you should have your own motivational videos. So you should power of self motivation and NEET preparation. And when you improve yourself, motivation already follows you. Always remember goals, set goals and study. Build interest in your subjects, then take inspiration. That is the main best thing in NEET success story is the story of Kirti Agarwal, who cleared NEET in third attempt and achieved her dream to become a doctor. Be consistent but don't ever give up. It is not easy to crack exam, I do believe, but it is not impossible to. A lot of factors contribute in studies. Keep yourself motivated and work hard for your dreams, because this is a race. There are always people out there to take your place. And talk to your parents, teachers, friends, whoever you are comfortable with. You talk with them whenever you feel demotivated. Nothing feels better than trying your best. Nothing can feel better. So try the best and you can finally come out with flying colors. Finally, don't think about the result for now. Focus on the effort. Effort always give you best scores. Failure is the stepping stone for success. So you can already you have taken many tests that will also keep you more motivating. Never give up. Stay focused, stay strong, stay positive. And thanks for watching, and all the best for your exams. Thank you all.